What if everything you've been told about Justin Bieber's rise to fame is only part of the story? A young boy, a few YouTube videos, a life-changing discovery. It sounds like a modern fairy tale, but behind the screaming fans, sold-out tours, and global success, there's a side of this story that rarely gets talked about, a side filled with pressure, control, and a childhood that disappeared almost overnight. Because Justin Bieber didn't just become famous, he was thrown into a world that most adults struggled to survive at just 13 years old. When people talk about Justin Bieber, they often focus on the highlights, the chart-topping hits, the massive fan base, the global influence, and on the surface, it looks like one of the greatest success stories of the internet era. But fame, especially early fame, comes with a hidden cost. A cost that doesn't show up in music videos or award shows. In this video, we're going beyond the headlines too. Explore the darker reality behind Justin Bieber's rise. Not just how he became famous, but what that fame did to him. 1. The viral beginning that changed everything. Justin Bieber's journey began on YouTube, just a kid uploading videos of himself singing. It was raw, authentic, unfiltered. That's what made people connect with him. But when those videos caught the attention of industry insiders, everything changed fast. Within months, he wasn't just a kid making videos anymore. He was part of a system designed to turn talent into global success as quickly as possible. Once that system starts moving, it doesn't slow down. 2. Fame at 13, a life interrupted. 13. Most kids are worrying about school, friends, and figuring out who they are. Justin was performing on global stages, traveling constantly, being watched by millions. His life didn't gradually change, it flipped overnight. And when that happens, something important gets lost. Normal development. There's no time to make mistakes privately, no space to grow quietly, no chance to just be a kid. Instead, every moment becomes part of a public narrative, and that kind of exposure can shape a person in ways that aren't always healthy. 3. Becoming a product, not a person. One of the darkest truths about early fame is this. At some point, you stop being seen as a person and start being treated like a product. Justin Bieber became a brand. His image, his music, his personality, all carefully managed and marketed. Because when millions and sometimes billions of dollars are involved, everything becomes strategic. What he wore, what he said, who he interacted with, it all mattered. And when you're that young, it's hard to separate who you are from who the world expects you to be. 4. The pressure to stay perfecta. Having millions of fans who expect you to always be perfect. Now, imagine knowing that one mistake could change how the entire world sees you. That was Justin's reality. The pressure to constantly perform, to stay relevant, to live up to expectations never stopped. And the industry doesn't wait. There's always another tour, another album, another appearance, even when you're exhausted, even when you're struggling. Because in that world, slowing down can mean losing everything you've built. 5. Isolation behind the fame from the outside. Fame looks exciting, but behind the scenes, it can be incredibly isolating. Justin was surrounded by people, managers, teams, security, but that doesn't always mean real connection. When your career depends on your success, it becomes difficult. To know who's genuinely there for you, trust becomes complicated. Relationships become uncertain, and loneliness can exist even in the middle of a crowd. 6. When the cracks began to show as Justin grew older, the pressure started to show. The world saw headlines, controversies, legal issues, public outbursts. But what many people didn't see was the context. A teenager who never had a normal childhood, trying to navigate adulthood under a microscope, every mistake amplified, every flaw exposed. Instead of empathy, there was judgment. Instead of understanding, there was criticism. And that only made things harder. 7. Control and the industry machine. The entertainment industry is powerful. And for young artists, it can be overwhelming. Decisions are often made behind the scenes by managers, labels, and executives. These decisions shape careers, but they can also shape lives. For someone like Justin, that meant growing up in an environment where control wasn't always his, where expectations were high, and freedom was limited. Because once a global brand is built around you, stepping away isn't simple. Too much depends on it. 8. Mental health. and the hidden struggles over time. Justin began opening up about his mental health. He spoke about anxiety, depression, the pressure of fame, and suddenly the image of the perfect pop star started to fade. What people saw instead was a human being. Someone who had been dealing with intense pressure from a very young age. Someone who was still trying to understand himself after years of living in the spotlight. 9. Growing up in front of the world. One of the hardest parts of Justin Bieber's journey is that his entire life unfolded publicly. Every phase, every mistake, every lesson. People get to grow and change privately. He didn't have that luxury. And when growth happens in front of millions, it's often misunderstood, because people don't just see who you are now, they remember who you were. 10. The cost of fame. So, what's the real cost of early fame? For Justin Bieber, it meant losing a normal childhood, living under constant pressure, struggling with identity and mental health, being judged by the world at every step, and while he gained success, influence, and wealth, those things came with sacrifices that aren't always visible. Justin Bieber's story isn't just about fame, it's about what fame does to a person, especially when it comes to early. Yes, it's a story of talent and opportunity, but it's also a story of pressure, control, and survival. A reminder that behind every celebrity, there's a human being dealing with challenges we may never fully understand. So the next time you see a headline or a viral moment, remember, there's always more to the story than what meets the eye. If you found this video insightful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more deep dives into the hidden realities behind fame. Because sometimes the truth is darker than the spotlight.